taking three.
Going for the St. Louis now.
Oh no!
Son of a bitch.
You get your two?
Yeah. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thotgor here, of course. And today I've got a replay for you in my Miyoko. Now, I was going through the older replays I have. I was actually going to put together a Never Wonder video. But I came across this replay here, and I thought this would be something that we definitely should show today for two reasons. The first reason why I'm showing this video is, or this replay rather, is I want to emphasize to everyone that kills are not everything in this game. Everyone seems to be hung up on kills. You know, you stole my kill, I only got one kill that game, I only got 2 kills that game, you know what I'm talking about, right? That's the first reason why I'm showing this game, because it's not all about kills. You can still have amazing battles with only getting 1 or 2 kills. The second reason why I'm showing this replay today is I just want to do a review on cruiser flexibility as well, because playing the game, I see it very often where cruisers tend to be like battleships in that they've committed to one direction and they are only going to go in that one direction regardless of what happens. And it just pains me to see that, especially when you are in a cruiser. Yeah, it grinds my gears, if you will. Anyway, we'll get to the battle here and watch it unfold. So you'll notice I am on 2 brothers and I am in the Miyoko. The Miyoko is a beast. Get yourself a Miyoko at tier 7. I don't care, you need one. Everyone needs a Miyoko. So in the Miyoko today, and I'm moving over to the west side on 2 brothers. As you can see, this is after the patch 0.5.1, and we've got the different island positions here, right? And my general plan on this map is, you know, generally I'll go to the side where I spawned or where the team is focusing, right? So if everyone is going to go on the east side like they it looks like they are doing now, I'll actually head over to the west to defend the west, vice versa. But for today, I'm going on the west. It's the closest spot I spawned to. It does look like a lot of my teammates and allies are going towards the east, so I feel pretty good on the west side. We're going to play a bit of defense over here. And this is really, you know, the first part of the cruiser flexibility, playing defense. Fairly basic. All it requires you to do is don't charge in there. Just take some shots like I just did, turn away, don't keep your broadsides presented right, let your guns reload, and then find another target, take another shot, if you need to, right? You can always shoot back the same guy, obviously, but you know, if you're in a new position now and you need to take a shot at something else, yeah, go ahead and do it. Don't get hung up on continuously shooting the same target until he's dead. Don't get hung up on that, because again, this is going to tie into kills are not everything. It doesn't matter if you've put a few shots into one enemy so you feel that he's yours now and you need to get the kill because you did all that damage to him. That does not matter. Take the shots that you can take in the position you are in. Don't try to get yourself into a position to finish off that enemy, right? He's on low health and you want the kill, you can taste it. Don't put yourself into a position where where you can get that kill, but in doing so you're sacrificing your good position, your defensive maneuvers, and you know, exposing your broadsides to any other enemy ships that might be around. So try and keep that in mind. You're really flexible when you're in a cruiser. You can go anywhere and do almost anything you want to do in a cruiser, and just don't get hung up on the amount of kills that you're getting, right? It's not everything in the game. So here we go. I'm firing off at, what is that? Nuremberg off in the distance. So you know, I didn't really do a whole lot of damage to him, but I landed some hits. I got a Citadel hit on another enemy that hasn't popped up since I got the hit on him, so that was nice as well. But now you can see, you know, I am back to the original battleship that I was shooting at. I'm sort of turning at him. I don't like his position, and I don't like that I have to expose a broadside to him in order to get the shots off. So I'm continuing my turn until I get a nice angle going here against him. In the meantime, this has put me into a good position to start firing back at the Nuremberg. So that's what I've been doing. Put a few shots into the Nuremberg, then I'm going to go back and I'm going to take a look at the enemies that I have on the starboard side, just to make sure that, you know, they're not focusing on me. Because it's all fine and good to have a broadside exposed if the enemy isn't concerned, it doesn't see that you've given them this broadside, right? And if they're not shooting at you, well, fine, take advantage of that. maybe stay in that position and get whatever shots you can until you start receiving incoming fire, and that's what I'm doing. The Cleveland here, he's not focused on me at all. Not at all. He's well within my range. I have armor piercing loaded, and I'm in a Miyoko. So I am going to do some excellent damage to this guy, as long as he doesn't start focusing on me. And you can see there, my first salvo went in. That was, quite a bit of damage there that he took. No citadels. It's not surprising. It's a Cleveland. You don't get citadels very often on a Cleveland. But still doing some excellent damage overall to this guy in every salvo that's coming in. So that is great. So, no one else is shooting at me. So why not just continue and put what shots I can into the Cleveland? Moving behind the island now, right? So we have broken line of sight. The enemies aren't going to be able to see me now. Though they will definitely see me once I pop back around the island. But for now, they don't see me, so that's good. And I'm just sort of taking a look, scanning around. I can see I have 2 allies ahead of me. I've got a destroyer and a battleship. The battleship is in a pretty bad position, so I'm going to try and help this guy out, see what I can do. He better not expect any miracles from me here, because, he got himself into this position. It's really, really hard to save your allies when they've just put themselves in a terrible position. And in fact, most of the times when I do try and save allies who are in these terrible positions, I end up dying. So I'm sort of learning to do it at a distance if I'm going to be doing it at all. Maneuvering around, and I've got the Nuremberg in front of me again, so I'm going to put shots into this guy. Obviously it's going to be armor piercing, right? There's another citadel hit on the Nuremberg, so that's not too bad at all. And I've got my friendly destroyer up there launching torpedoes at the Nuremberg. Didn't hit him with any of those torpedoes, but still, I imagine put the fear of God into that guy. So the Nuremberg is almost gone now. He's riding the line, and because this is after the patch, he is at half speed. So I don't really even have to lead this guy anymore. Just shoot where he is, and I'll probably get a few hits on him. Yeah, Nuremberg after all, so you'll probably do pretty good damage anyway, even if you hit him a bit. My friendly destroyer is gone now. Luckily, though, he did manage to get us some torpedoes off before he died, so he kills the Nuremberg. Fantastic. That's not too bad. It was a pretty bad trade-off, though. A Mahan for a Nuremberg. Yeah, but whatever. The Mahan did what he could do, and at least he took someone out with him, so that's great. You'll notice that I'm still sticking in the back, right? I'm using my range to my maximum advantage here, which is what I don't understand about my battleship allies up here. They're all ahead of me, and they don't necessarily have to be. I agree with where my Nagato is. We just saw him, and I agree where this battleship is here. It's that other battleship that I have that's on such low health. Like, he should have just gotten out of there as soon as freaking possible. I guess that's not a battleship in front of me. I don't know what ship that is in front of me. It's a cruiser. Oba. Yeah, alright. So, they're in good positions. It was that battleship, my friendly battleship, that passed away. He was not in a good position, or rather that player was not in a good position, and definitely should have got out of there as soon as possible. Putting shots into a battleship off in the distance, I've got my armor piercing loaded because I'm still going to be able to do some good damage to him, but more importantly, I was getting ready for this guy to come back around. I believe that is it a York? I think it's a York. So I'm shooting at this guy. And the York has no armor at all. I have the York. Actually, I'm enjoying my York, on a side note. Why I'm enjoying the York is the challenge of the York, yes. So I put a few shots into the York, but look, our base is being capped. So we're taking it back to cruiser flexibility here. I was rocking out on the west side, but I noticed that my base is being capped. My allies that I have over there aren't in a position to move in quickly and deal with this. So that's what I'm doing. You need to look at the mini-map, and you need to recognize these situations, right? Looking at the allies I have on the east side, they are heavily engaged with the enemies on the east side. For one of them to turn back and come defend this base is going to leave the east side incredibly exposed, more exposed than it already is, frankly, and it's going to result in the death of an ally. And once one ally, because there's only 3 over there, once one of them dies, the other 2 are even more vulnerable and even more susceptible to dying themselves. So, I am going to take the initiative, I am going to come into the base, and I am going to defend the base, using the flexibility of the cruiser. It's just so critical, and I see it all the time on this map, where people in cruisers will be on the west side like I was, and they, the base is being capped, and they'll go, oh, someone from the east will come back. Right? Look at the situation of the people on the east and judge as to whether or not they are in a position to come back. And really judge it. Don't just look at it and say, yeah, they can come back. Really think about it. because 9 times out of 10 they can't actually come back. And you're wrong in saying, well, one of them probably should have came back. No, if you notice it, you're in a cruiser, even destroyers can do it really effectively. Come back to the base, do something about it, take it upon yourself, let your allies continue the push. Don't get hung up on getting all those kills, right? Kills are not everything. So I did manage to take out, or rather an ally and I managed to take out the Mitsuki that was capping our base, so that is phenomenal. Not too bad at all. Now I'm in a position where I can actually start helping out the people on the east side. You'll notice the west side has very little enemy opposition. You know, obviously there are some enemy ships there, so I struggle in saying very little opposition. But if you look at the west side and you look at the east side, you can immediately tell that the east is where the team needs reinforcements right now. This is where I need to be. So I am immediately going to start engaging targets as they appear. I've got high explosive loaded, so I'm going to try and take out a destroyer here. Being a cruiser, destroyer is generally your primary focus, but looking around at other targets that are within my range and judging as to whether or not I should be changing over to these guys, right? The destroyer, enemy destroyer is gone. I can't see him anymore. He's in his smoke. I am not going to hunt this guy down because, again, given the amount of allies I have right now, we're not even on the east, we're in our base now, you know, defending. If I just push ahead of my allies, that's like signing my own death certificate. I won't have any support from the few allies I have, and it'll all just be over. So I am not going to do that. Instead, I'm just going to stay in the base, get shots off at whatever targets I possibly can, and defend the base as much as I can. You'll notice on the west side, my allies have successfully dealt with the enemy ships that were in their immediate vicinity. So they're rocking out over there. They're doing it. They are going to push to the enemy base, or at least attempt to push to the enemy base. It is our job and my job to stay on the defensive and to defend the base. And that's another beautiful thing about the cruisers, is obviously their flexibility. You can take a cruiser on the offense just as easily as you can take your cruiser on the defense. The trick in this is knowing when to go from offense to defense, vice versa, and it is also knowing how to play the offense and the defense. I have put a few videos up about playing aggressively, and in fact in my playing aggressively video I am in a Miyoko and we review how to play aggressively in a Miyoko, or generally in a cruiser, so that's fine. I have put up several playing defensively videos, mostly focusing on destroyers. Today, I'll just give, brief blurb about playing defensively in your cruiser. When I'm in my Miyoko, generally, this is my favorite cruiser to play in, below tier 8. I find once I get to tier 8, 9, and 10, that's a different ball game. So at tier 7 and below, I'm going to be playing my Miyoko if I'm in a cruiser just to mess around. So when I'm playing defense in my Miyoko, you can see I've got 4 enemy ships in front of me versus me. I've got, I think, 1 ally, there's a destroyer, and then there's an enemy battleship, I believe, behind, or rather a friendly battleship behind me. We've only got 3 allied ships here, and I'm facing off against a number of enemy ships. So what I'm going to do to play defensively in my Miyoko is I'm going to remain at my maximum range or thereabouts. I'm not closing the distance. I do not want to do that. It's going to open myself up to take a lot more damage than I've already been taking. Second step here in playing defensively in this cruiser, or in a cruiser, is to fire and maneuver. Do not just drive in a straight line. Do not just focus on the same target over and over and over again to try and get that kill. You can see, yes, I am putting shots into this Nuremberg or Königsberg, whatever it is. I am putting shots into him, and I've been putting shots regularly into him. But I'm maneuvering in between each shot. People complain about the turret rotation speed on the Miyoko. I don't think that's an issue at all, because I'll tell you why. When I'm in my Miyoko, I fire my guns and then I maneuver. As my guns are reloading, my turrets are, readjusting based on where I've maneuvered, and generally speaking, if you can do quick little maneuvers like that in your Miyoko, every time your guns are reloaded, you will then have your turrets faced where you want and to fire. And it really encourages you to fire and maneuver. It's really critical, and you can do it so effectively in cruisers, so effectively. Even in a Cleveland, your ship can't turn faster than your turrets can turn. So even though you might be in the hardest turn you could possibly do in a Cleveland, your guns will always still be focused where you want them, and you can fire at that target. So, cruisers and playing defensively, it goes hand in hand here, much like cruisers and playing offensively, frankly. It's just important for you to recognize the situations that you're presented with and how you're going to be playing it, right? The situation would have been completely different if I started off on the west side and I was spearheading that push. If I was, right out front, then yes, I would have continued along to the enemy base. Because we're capping the enemy base right now. If the situation is, like we saw today, and I am not spearheading, I'm in the back, supporting my allies who are spearheading, then you need to really consider whether or not you're going to be needed on the offense or needed on the defense. In this case, definitely defense. So I have some enemy battleships coming in. I've got a New York and I've got a Congo. So we're going to have to start dealing with these guys. I've got high explosive loaded because I want to set fires to them. Plus, in case you didn't see it there is actually an enemy destroyer right in the mouth of the channel right now. So I need to get myself into position to deal with this guy immediately. I'm the cruiser. It's my job. And that's also why, high explosive is loaded, and I'm not even going to bother with armor piercing at this time. I'm going to get the shots I can get into these enemy battleships while I'm getting into position. Once I am in position, I'll have the proper ammo loaded, my guns will be facing the proper way, and I will be able to just take out that enemy destroyer. There we go. Got myself a Confederate. I only have 2 kills, and I've gotten a Confederate. You're going to see at the end of the battle as well the results. The results are really good. Nothing overly spectacular, obviously, but still really good. And that brings it back to your kills are not everything. If you can do a nice bit of damage to all the enemy ships in the game, then you're going to start earning yourself Confederate, high caliber. You might get some devastating strikes, maybe a first blood, right? And that's where I try to focus on and where my points come from. It's not from the kills. Yeah, I did kill the New York and I'm up to 3 kills now. That's fine and that's good. Hooray for me. What I'm more happy about and what I'm more pleased about is the number of hits that I've gotten so far in this battle. The fact that I have a Confederate in the battle as well. And what I'm most proud about is the fact that I switched and played defense, and that it was the right call to make. Because look, the enemy team only has 2 ships left. There's a destroyer in the channel. I'm lining up on him right now. I know he's here. I caught a glimpse of him earlier. And then we have the enemy Congo back there. That enemy Congo is retreating to his base because our destroyer, or the allied ship I have there, is no longer capping the enemy base. Not a big deal. We do have enough time in this battle to be able to take out the remaining enemy ships, so that's not bad. So here we go. Here is the last enemy destroyer. Right there, my armor piercing is ready to go. They haven't mentioned it yet, but my team is going to be saying, torp that guy. No, I'm not going to torp him. Blam. Yeah, that was awesome. So my shots went in, did a crap ton of damage to him, and then right behind my shots, I have my ally shots come in and finish him off. Fantastic. And I could care less that he got the kill. That means nothing. Kills don't mean anything, people. It is your damage that you're doing. I did the majority of the damage to the destroyer, so I'm going to get the majority of the points, the majority of the experience and money and all that lovely thing from that death. The fact that I didn't kill him doesn't matter at all. I said it before too, and I'm not a stats player. I don't care what my personal stats are. Doesn't bother me in the least what they are. The only thing that I care about in terms of stats is to make sure that my stats aren't terrible with the YouTube channel now, right? I want you guys to see that I actually know what I'm talking about, and hopefully the stats reflect that. That's my only concern about stats. But for me, too, when I'm looking at my stats, what I'm looking at is my average damage per battle. That's my big thing for me. That's what I like. I don't care about kill-death ratio. I don't care about any of that other crap. For me, it's average experience per battle. I think I'm at like 39,000 average per battle, damage per battle, sorry. So 39,000 damage per battle is the average that I have, and that for me is good. I like that. That makes me happy. If I can get that up a little higher, even better. Don't care about the kills. So battle is coming to an end now. You can see we are just finishing off this last Congo here. Time is running down, but we have the majority of the points. And with the new, since the new patch here, we don't have to worry about this being a draw. It will not be a draw. We have the majority of the points, so my team is going to win. Fantastic. But just to review, kills are not everything. They are not. Not everything. And your cruisers are amazingly flexible. Recognize situations where you can use that flexibility to help your team and to exploit the enemy team. So here we go. 2 kills, yeah, money and experience, that is great. I'm second on the team overall. And you can see, it wasn't about kills in this game. It was about damage. Damage done. I like earning Confederate flags more than, say, having a battle with 5 kills, for example. It doesn't mean a whole lot to me. And again, flexibility of your cruisers, so important. Learn your flexibility. In fact, the first video I put up when I started this channel is entitled Cruiser Flexibility. Now it's my first video, so it's a little different than these newer videos that I have because I wasn't as used to making YouTube videos at that time, but the message is still there and it still talks about your cruiser flexibility, so maybe take a look at that video if you haven't, or at the very least this video would give you a general idea of what you should be doing in your cruisers to really exploit your flexibility. So that's today's video, guys. Thank you so much for sticking around and watching it through. As always, leave any comments that you may have for me. Love reading those comments and responding back to them. Hit the old like button if you liked today's video, and hit subscribe if you are not a subscriber. As always, folks, I do hope you enjoy the rest of your day.